Presidential candidate and Texas Republican Senator Ted Cruz joins me right now. Senator, great to see you.
Megan, great to be with you.
That was a new line of attack. We haven't heard that one from you before. I mean, are you surprised that point has not yet come up?
Well, it's actually interesting. For most of this primary, a lot of candidates have been using kid gloves towards Donald. And as we've seen the field narrow, I think people are really focused on what is the record of a candidate. And listen, Donald has tapped into something very real. People are furious. I mean, they're volcanic with their frustration with Washington. And what they're tired of is all these politicians who lie to us. They give a great talk on the campaign trail, and they do exactly the opposite of what they said they would do. But that frustration, I mean, the point I was making there is, listen, Donald has been doing that. He has been the one funding those politicians. If you don't like Obamacare, Donald funded Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi and the politicians that gave us.
His position is, I'm running a big business. I employ thousands and thousands of people. What I need to do is what's best for my business.
That may be true if he's giving contributions to a city commission that gives zoning variances to build a building. I mean, he's a real estate developer.
Clinton was a New York State senator.
But he wasn't
a senator from New York State.
But look, when it comes to supporting presidential candidates, that's not impacting his business. You don't have to do that. He could have supported whoever he wanted. And by the way, he supported Jimmy Carter over Ronald Reagan. He supported John Kerry over George W. Bush.
To Republicans, though, as well. If you look back at his record, he gave a lot of money to Republicans.
But if you look back, let's take, for example, 2006. Democrats took over Congress. Donald gave hundreds of thousands of dollars to help put Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi in charge of Congress. And by the way, the existing leadership in Congress was Republican. So not only was that not helping his business, it was against his business interests. He was taking on incumbents.
His Republican donations picked up in the last 8 years or so. I want to ask you about today's news. Yeah. Mitt Romney, the speech he gave denouncing Donald Trump, did he have a point that Marco Rubio needs to win Florida, John Kasich needs to win Ohio, for you or any of the others to have a path other than Donald Trump?
Listen, I think Super Tuesday has revealed pretty powerfully that the only candidate who has a path to beating Donald Trump is me.
But not straight out, not without a contested convention.
Absolutely straight out. This contested convention nonsense is something the GOP establishment loves to talk about. Let me say right now, if the power brokers in the GOP try to pick the nominee at a brokered convention, you will see the people revolt. It is the dumbest idea, and it's what the lobbyists have come up with because they don't understand why the voters aren't voting for the candidates they like. If you look at this race so far, we have beaten Donald in 5 different states. We beat him resoundingly in Iowa. We beat him in Texas resoundingly. We beat him in Oklahoma. We beat him in Alaska. We beat him in Minnesota. No other campaign has done that. So for anyone who wants to stop Donald Trump, it is abundantly clear that we're the only campaign to do it. And if you look at delegates,
question, because they're wrapping me.
Donald has just over 300 delegates. I've got just over 200. There's less than 100 delegates. If you want to beat Donald, come with us. And it's why so many people who are supporting other candidates are doing
question. The focus group was very negative on the negative tone among the candidates on the stage. They don't like the sniping. What would you say to those people who are feeling dejected about that tonight? I
very much agree, and I think there was a real difference. Listen, Donald and Marco were insulting each other. They were getting personal. They were getting nasty. They were talking about body parts and making jokes. I haven't done that. I don't intend to do that. I think there's a big difference between insults and going into the gutter and focusing on issues and substance. And let me make a final point here, Megan.
I got to go.
Which is Donald stressed flexibility. He kept saying he'd be flexible. In fact, on the stage, he said he agreed with Marco Rubio's decision to be flexible and negotiate the Gang of 8 amnesty bill. Flexibility is Washington code word for he's getting ready to stick it to the voters and break his word.
Got to leave it at that.
And that ought to be a real warning sign to the voters.
Great to see you, Senator.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks for being here tonight.